Hi Stampers, this is super awesome stamper Shirley Merker. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Sun Prairie, Wisconsin, USA. I'm excited to be sharing this fun fold card. I'm just calling it a fancy fold pop-up box card because it pops up and sits on your desk just like that. You can certainly tuck a little treat in there. This could be a party favor. If you're having a dinner party or a birthday party, you could certainly tuck a little treat inside. So these are part of my Kits in the Mail cards for April 2021. So let's get started. We are going to work with the ice cream cone kit first. And here are a few of the supplies you'll need to complete the kit. So grab your paper trimmer because we need to cut 1/4 inch off of the pattern paper. Other adhesives and supplies that I'll be using would be a bone folder, tear and tape, my Stampin' Seal, which is a tape runner, my Tombow liquid glue, and my roll of glue dots. So you use whatever favorite adhesives you have on hand to finish the kits. So I designed these kits so that you don't have to do any stamping. So you can just add your adhesives and a paper trimmer and you'll be good to go. All right, so let's pull in the kits. I mail my kits in these little envelopes. They're 6 by 9, so 2 of your kits are tucked in there, or 3 if you got the 3 kit option. So that's just what you're looking for in your pile. So we're going to do the Purple Poisy card first. So keep your envelope. You can store your cards in there in your card file or use that to mail the card in as well. So inside will be all of your supplies. So I've included my business card, so keep that handy in case you want to place an order or if you want to check out my YouTube channel, my Facebook page. I've also got a Pinterest board, so keep that handy. And your Purple Poisy cardstock is already pre-scored, so set that aside. We are going to work with our pattern piece of paper first so that we can get the paper trimmer out of the way. And what I need you to do is, I'll pull this in. The pattern paper is 4 by 4 inches square. You're going to cut a little strip off and that strip will go right here. Cut 1/2 inch off to match my sample card. I accidentally cut off 1/4 inch during the video. All right, so we're done with the paper trimmer. We'll have to pull the paper trimmer back in for the pet kits. All right, so your next thing is to grab your cardstock. Now I've already scored it for you. So here's where you're going to pull in your bone folder and just crease back on all those score lines. I would just do it gently with your hands first and then come back and crisp them up. All right, so I'm going to pull our sample card back in. So our next layers will be our patterned paper. You can decide which pattern you want up. If you want the waffle side up and just a little bit of color down here, that's up to you. But I want my colorful ice cream cones at the top. And then I'm just eyeballing it so there's a little bit of the same amount of matte around the outside on the 3 sides. All right, next I'm going to attach my little piece of coordinating color cardstock to the bottom. So here's where you can take your glue, your tape runner if it's thin enough, some glue dots, whatever you'd like. That just goes along the bottom. What I like about our liquid glue is that it allows you to move it into position wherever you'd want. You get a few seconds of wiggle room. That looks good. I'm just eyeballing left to right to make sure you got the same amount of showing of the Purple Poisy on either side. Okay, our next layer is this layer, but before we get to there, let's do the pop-up part. So pull your cardstock back, and we're interested in this strip right here. And you're going to want to put some super sticky adhesive on this strip, tear and tape or your tape runner. So we got adhesive on this strip. And find the score mark where it actually folds in half to fit into your envelope. And what you will do, here is the score mark that you fold in half so your card will fit into the envelope. Flap that one down, and then just walk this flap towards your pattern paper. And try to make sure that flap that you attach the adhesive to lays flat on the card back. And then you've made your little box. And then just use your fingers and kind of press down on that. There we go. All right, now let's fold it flat while we assemble the rest of it. You want to fold it flat because you don't want the top of this to overhang the top of your card base because then it won't fit in your envelope. So just add adhesive towards the bottom, not the top, because otherwise you're going to adhere the top of your cinnamon cider piece to your pattern paper. And what I was looking at was that I did not get this straight. Even though I said I had a few seconds to move it, I'll have to do something else. Or just not worry about it. All right, I'm gonna opt for the not worrying about it. Next layer is gonna be our doily. So the doily does have a front and a back side. You can kind of see it and feel it. So the back side's the rough side, you know, where the die pushes through the paper. The front side kind of has a concave look. All right, so I am just going to fold that down, decide where I want my doily, and put some adhesive just right here where that circle is going to go. We don't want to put adhesive everywhere on that doily because it will show through just where we're going to cover it up with something. All right, next layer is our circle. So I like the polka dotted print. You could certainly have the other print up. Oh, well, maybe I'll do the other print up so we've got a contrast here. You can see which one you like better. So all the pattern paper might be slightly different than what I'm showing in my sample. That's because they're all printed a little differently. And also there are 3 different types of ice cream cones. There's the curly top and there's also popsicles. So you may have gotten one of those prints in your package as well. So the ice cream scoop and the cone is actually from a punch. So you can see here where this sample's got a little different color tone and this one's just got only purple on it. All right, so what I did was I included a length of this cinnamon cider ribbon. It's super soft. I'm going to add some adhesive to the back side. And then I'm going to start at the top. So I added some adhesive, anchoring the ribbon. And then I'm just going to wrap it around. So it kind of looks like a fun waffle cone. And you might have a little more ribbon than what you need. So I've got a little more than what I need. So I'm going to pull it off. I'm going to rewind just so that I use it all and I don't have to worry about cutting off a tip. All right, I'm going to tuck it under there. Now my next step is to grab my tear and tape. So I'm using all of my adhesives today. All of our adhesives serve a specific function and I usually do tend to use all of them on a project. So for this, I needed a super sticky something to adhere the ribbon to the cone and then pull the backer sheet off. That'll be my adhesive that will adhere the cone to the circle. All right, now I am tempted to pop this up, the ice cream, but these little jimmies that I provided are a little bit thick. So instead, I'm not gonna pop that up. If you're hand delivering this card or including it inside a package, you pop up everything that you want to pop up. All right, that's my little ice cream scoop. We got Purple Moon for colors. All right, and then just count up the number of little jimmies you got in your kit, and then make the appropriate number of little glue dots with your liquid glue. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So hopefully you have 7 little jimmies in your kit. Now you may have gotten 6 or you may have gotten 8. Just kind of depends on how well I counted them out, or if any of them ran on the floor while I was making your kit. There's an assortment of colors though. Daffodil Delight, I think it was Pool Party, Poppy Parade, and the Purple Posy. There, look at that. Just let that dry a little bit. So that's our first card. So here's my sample card. And then here's the one I just made. So like I said, it will just sit on somebody's desk like that. A fun little pop-up. All right, I'm going to clear this off, and then I'm going to bring in the pet theme cards. The pet theme cards are a little bit different. Same kind of assembly. Backer sheet on the back, the paper on the bottom, but we've added this additional layer here for stability. So 2 different slightly designs, but both are pop-up cards. So I'm only going to assemble one. So the dog kit is at the top of my pile here. So why don't I assemble the dog kit? So pull your contents out of your bag. And I had options of purchasing a dog kit with an ice cream design, a cat kit with an ice cream design, or a dog and a cat kit with an ice cream design on my blog. So depending on what you ordered, that's what hopefully arrived at your doorstep. Again, everything is pre-scored, so just fold back on all the score lines. And use your bone folder to crisp the edges up. All right, and then we have this additional piece of basic gray. So fold back on those score lines. And for those of you that are watching after this video goes live and you did not get a kits in the mail, all of my score lines will be on my blog post or in the video below. I'll probably add some little pop-up titles as well to kind of help you if you're watching after the fact or a couple years later when I'm no longer selling these kits. All right, so we're going to pull back in our paper trimmer again. Let's see if I can get a full 1/4 inch cut off this time. There's my 3.5. There. That looks really small. Why don't I do a little more? There. It's a 1/2 inch. It's not a 1/4 inch. I misspoke on the other card. But if you only do a 1/4 inch, that's fine too. All right, so same kind of assembly. You get to decide which pattern you want up. You can have the words up, or you can have the graphic up. I like the graphic because I like all of the colors. So again, just assembling, eyeballing back and forth, left to right, making sure there's the same amount of real red all the way around on the 3 sides. And then attaching adhesive along this fold over, finding your middle score, and then also folding over this first flap so that you can see where you put your adhesive. And then lay it down on your table and walk it down. Walk it down and make sure it's flat. And then it should pop up and stay okay. All right, so same kind of thing with this piece. All right, so add adhesive just along the bottom, maybe two lines, and then one up here, the top. So the basic grade piece gets attached to the bottom of the Real Red flush. Okay, and then press down. Now, so this is attached. Flap it down and then flap it down again. So your adhesive is right here. And then just press down. Oops, what happened? Oh, I did not press down. I did not press down hard enough. There we go. All right. So it's the same kind of motion as the larger box that you did. You kind of worked your way down so that it will open and shut. Okay. All right, and then next up is just the assembly. So this is now wide enough. It's a 1/2 inch wide. I can put some adhesive on there. And I'm going to choose to have the words up. I'm going to look at that. Oops, see, that's what happened. I think on the first card, I looked at it at an angle. There, that's straight. The first card I was off by a little bit. All right, next layer is going to be your circle. And I punched this pattern paper from we're using the 2-inch circle punch. And then we have the cat and the dog punch. So I opted to give you a white cat and the dog. And again, this was a no stamping kit, so you didn't have to provide any stamps to finish the kit. You just needed to provide a paper trimmer and all your adhesives. All right, so loop that through. And I gave you more of this baker twine than what you need. So you can certainly snip it off or do something else with it. Tie your charm a different way. I just liked it as a collar on either pet. All right, so we're going to wrap it around like that. So you'll need to put some adhesive there to secure down that baker's twine. And before we wrap it around, I'm going to put a glue dot on the back of that bone. That way the bone is secure where I want it when I'm manipulating the baker's twine. Okay, wrap that around. Wrap that around. And here's where you can just tape all this out of the way, or you can certainly just clip it off and use it somewhere else. There we go. All right, and I'm going to put a piece of tear and tape over the back of that because I don't want it to unravel. There. I'm not going to pull the backer sheet off. What I am going to do is bring it in my mini dimensionals, and I've got a piece left over from the edge I'm going to use on the back side. And then I will just grab one to put behind the head. There we go. All right, you should have a few more things in your kit. A little heart. So on the dog punch, there is a little heart. So that came out when I punched the white. It's going to go down in the bottom corner. Oh, and I got a little bit of, didn't attach that glue dot very well. All right, then you've got some of this ribbon. So the ribbon is part of the Pampered Pets suite. That's where all of these products come from, the pattern paper. So in the pattern paper you get, it's a 50/50 pack. You get half kitty themed and half puppy dog themed. That's why I gave you the option to purchase one or the other, or purchase both of the pet themes in your kit. So I'm just making a double knot. And if you don't like how long your tails are, you can certainly cut those off. This one is not, I got a little more tail on the left, so I am going to cut that off right there. Okay, and what else? We are missing 2 little red hearts. So, you see where they went. Found them. All right, and so these 2 little resin hearts are from the Snailed It Suite from the January to June catalog. There's quite a few hearts in the package. It's half red and half white. And I thought the red hearts would go perfect on this card. There we go. Oh, there they are. They were underneath the box, underneath the card. Okay, so here is this card I started with. Here's the card I just assembled. So I'm not gonna step through the kitty cat, but it's the same thing, the same steps. You just got this fun glittery black organdy ribbon in the kitty cat kit. All right, one more thing that you might want to add to your stash is the Stampin' Up chalk marker. It's on page 147 of the annual catalog. It's number 16 right here. The Stampin' Up chalk marker is in white for $3.50. And the reason why I'm recommending it is because you can use a Stampin' Up chalk marker to write your greeting on the back side. And that will work for either of the cards. Most of the products for the pet card came from the annual catalog. This annual catalog runs through May 3rd. On May 4th, we will introduce a brand new annual catalog. So make sure you place an order through my online store so that I may send you one of the new annual catalogs. So here is the Playful Pet Suite. Here's the ribbon and the trinkets and the paper. You can purchase these items as a suite. One item number gets you all of those items. Or you can purchase items individually. I didn't use the stamp set or the dies for this card, but I did use the punches, the dog builder and the cat punch. Here's the Chalkwrite marker again, the Stampin' Chalkwrite marker. It's number 16 for $3.50. It's on page 147. And then again, if you want a better look at the paper, here is the Playful Pets Designer Series paper, page 149. Our paper trimmer as well, we sell, page 151. The doilies on the ice cream card on page 153. And also the cello envelopes. They're called the clear medium envelopes. You get 50 envelopes for $6. That's on page 153. And then the Playful Pets trinkets, you get 20 pieces total, 10 each, 10 bones and 10 hearts. And then back on page 167, we've got the cat punch and the dog builder punch. And then for the ice cream card, those supplies came from the mini catalog, the January to June 2021. So page 48 and 49 are the ice cream corner suite. So here are some concept artists' designs. I did not use the dies or the stamp set, but you certainly can purchase those and jazz up your card a little bit. Here are the little sprinkles that I included in your kit, and then here's that pattern paper. And you can see right here, here is the punch. The punch that I used to punch out your ice cream dollop and your cone. And then I wanted to point out, here are those hearts that I mentioned on the pet card, so page 55 of the snail mail bundle. And that's it. So I hope you enjoyed making your cards with me. While you're on my YouTube channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notify bell so you're notified when I load new content to my channel. Also, if you're watching again and didn't get a kit, check my description for the measurements or go to my blog at superawesomestamper.com and click on Kits in the Mail to find this kit, which is for sale in April of 2021. I think that's it. I hope you enjoyed my video, and we'll stamp with you soon. Bye.